Hello everyone. Today we will learn about the sampling strategies. The first question is what is the need of sampling? Because it is good that if we can survey or sample the whole population, but it is not possible to survey the whole population, so we need to do the sampling. Sometimes because it is very time consumed to survey or sample the whole population to get the result about the characteristics of a population, and there are so many constraints to do the sampling of the whole population, like there's no sufficient time, money and efforts, and the manpowers. So we need to do the sampling, and sampling can save our time and energy, because by doing sampling we can provide the results very quickly, and it will save our time and energy. And by doing sampling we can provide accurate results or the characteristics of a population or the members of population. And sometimes there are some population which has infinite number of members or individuals, then we cannot sample all the members. So on the basis of a subset of a sample we can provide the information about the whole population, or we can reduce the results or the information about the whole population on the basis of sampling. There are some methods in which we need to do the distinction of the individuals. For example, if we want to determine the biomass in a forest, then we need to cut the grasses or the shrubs. So in that case we cannot cut all the members or the individuals of a grass species or a shrubs. So at these places where sampling needs destruction of the individuals or member, there is a utmost need of sampling. So what is the objective of sampling? So sampling has a single most objective: to obtain the optimum information about a population through the available resources in terms of money, time and manpower. So through doing sampling we can provide the maximum information or the optimum information about the population by using the resources at our disposal. So there are different strategies to do the sampling, and there are four major strategies to do the sampling. These are the simple random sampling, the systematic random sampling, stratified sampling and cluster sampling. And all these strategies has a single most objective, that or a idea or a role behind all these studies, that all the members of a population have equal probability to get sample, so that we can get the accurate variability in the population. So by applying all these four strategies, every individual have the equal probability to get sample or to contribute towards the characteristics of a population. So first we will discuss about the simple random sampling. So this is the purest form of sampling, and this is the purest form of sampling. So in this sampling, each and every individual of a population is provided a number. Then randomly we select the numbers to sample. So we can provide the number to each and every individuals, and then we select the random numbers. These random numbers can be selected with the help of computer programs. Now computer programs are available which can provide you the random numbers from a population. For example, If we want to survey a area, we want to do the vegetation sampling in a forest area. For example, we want to do the sampling in Corvette Tiger Reserve, and we want to lay the 10-meter rectangular plot in the forest. So the whole area of the Corvette Tiger Reserve is divided into 10 by 10 square plots. Then each and every quadrate or the rest square plot is given a number, and with the help of computer we can take the random numbers, mostly the 10% of the total individuals or total and total quadrates. We select the 10% and we sample them in the forest. So this is simple random sampling. Then, and this is sometimes very difficult because reaching to each and every quadrate is very difficult, and sometimes it is very difficult to implement these strategies in the field, because in wildlife areas it is very difficult to reach some of the areas which are located far inside the forest. Then we have systematic random sampling. So in systematic random sampling, there are two things which are random. First the starting point and the random interval. So in systematic random sampling, each and every member or the individuals or a household is given a individual number or a specific number. Then we randomly select the starting point and do the sampling at the random interval already specified by the scientist researcher. For example, we want to conduct a household survey in a village. Then all the household in a village is given a specific number, and randomly we select a interval like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For example, we select a 5 interval for 5. So randomly one household is selected to conduct the household survey. Then after a interval of 5, every household after a interval of 5 will be selected for the household survey, and household information will be collected on the selected household. But please remember that if the area or that sampling area has some periodicity or there is a chances of periodicity, then we should avoid using systematic random sampling to sample the population, because if you are using this systematic random sampling to sample the areas which have the periodicity or which have clump distribution, then systematic random sampling will provide you the biased results, and we are not able to have the variation in the population through this strategies. So better to avoid systematic random sampling in those areas which have known periodicity or there is a chances of periodicity in that area. So better to avoid this strategies to implement in those areas. And third sampling strategy is stratified sampling. So in stratified sampling, we take the random samples from the different groups or habitat from a parent population or from the parent area, and we have we stratified. For example, we want to conduct a habitat sampling in a forest area, and forest area has different habitat type like sal forest, mixed forest, teak plantation, grasslands and riverine forest. So first we stratified our area on the basis of habitat types. So the area will be divided into different habitat types. Then we will do random sampling in different habitat. So this will give you the information about the various habitat, like we have, and these number of samples will be decided on the basis of area covered by a particular habitat. So we can do that stratified sampling in those areas, or we can also have such kind of the sampling. For example, we want to have like a information about a human population and we are doing socio-economic survey in area. So first we divided the area on the basis of caste categories or on the basis of like a educational qualification. So we divided or stratified area into on the basis of qualifications of the respondents or the basis of their caste, because sometimes the responses of the people, like we want to know their attitude towards the wildlife conservation. So sometimes there is a variation in the attitude of population on the basis of their education. So we can stratify the respondents on the basis of their education. Then we will randomly do the sampling, like we have like a 100 people in different educational category. Then we can select 10 from different education population, and in this way we can get the responses of the respondent from different educational qualification, and this will provide you the accurate information or about the attitude of the local communities about the wildlife conservation or the forest conservation. Fourth strategies is the cluster sampling. Sometimes it is possible that we have very limited time and it is not possible to reach the each and every randomly selected grid or area or the place or a household. So in cluster sampling we do the sampling in already identified or specified areas, and all the members in that specified area is selected for the sampling. For example, we want to do a survey in a forest and we want to, out of 200 grids, we want to survey 20 grids. So by selecting 20 grids randomly, sometimes it is possible that it will take more time to go, and it is possible that we have to travel long distances. So instead of going to 20 places, we divide the area into 4 parts or the 4 zones, and each zones we sample the 5 quadrates or the 5 plots in at a single place, and this will provide you the information. So this cluster sampling will help in saving your time. Sometime when you are working in the wildlife or you're working in a protected area, that lots of time is consumed by traveling in the forest, and because there's no road network, sometimes there's some very difficult terrain and it is not possible to reach each and every plot. So we can apply at these places the cluster sampling.